Hi, this is Janos, it's Real World Audio, and I have a helper today, Kintaro, and another helper. I have Machiko here. So they are my helpers to share my thoughts on comparing my Voice of Lancelot loudspeaker, which is a loudspeaker cabinet of my own design, and not just the cabinet, the concept and everything about it. And basically it's a large format, big traditional cabinet, and it's very efficient, and it has a very wide frequency range in addition to being efficient. So that's something that it's not really seen in any commercial product today, because we either have option A, high efficiency, but then you don't have deep bass response, or we have wide frequency range, we have really deep bass response, but then forget about sensitivity or efficiency. Dame, it's not happening. But this technology, it puts the two together. So I have in my room approximately 102 dB per watt meter out of it, and it's a 16 ohm loudspeaker, and it reaches with my amplifier in my room down to 13 hertz, 13 hertz, with that efficiency. I mean, the 13 hertz is probably might not be 102 dB per watt per meter, might be a bit less, but the thing with those frequencies is that they have a very special way of interacting with us. And even if you have them like 10 dB lower, and possibly what my calculations give to me is that at 13 hertz, I think at 13 hertz, that's where it's like minus 10 dB in the room. That's where the response should be at the listening position. So that's kind of a very, very good thing. But how you can perceive those sounds, you don't really hear them unless they are excessively loud, but that's almost impossible to reproduce, or you need to have something very specialized to reproduce, but then you will lose the harmonic integrity to the upper scale. However, you don't need to hear the sub 20 hertz frequencies, because they interact with your body, and they make your body, your tissue, your internal organs, and your cells, your muscle, your bone, your guts, your eyeballs, your brains, all of these tissues, they resonate with the 28 hertz and lower frequency sounds. So basically that's how we perceive them, and that's why when I was saying in my previous video that the FC8 goes down to 25 hertz, how I can tell it, it's because like at 28 hertz and lower, that's the resonance of your muscles. So if you have resonances in the sound that happen at 28 hertz and lower, then you feel your muscles resonating to the frequency, and that's how you feel that the room is energized, because you feel it in your muscles. Your muscles are being vibrated by the sound, and that's what I can get even from the Cube Audio Fc8 drivers in my Voigt pipes. And with the Voice of Lancelot, I can get way below that. So for example, the frequency range, which is around 18-19 hertz, that's where your eyeballs resonate. So you can have, when you have that content in the music that resonates with the frequency of your eyes, then your vision can get blurry, or you can start to see things which are not the way you think them. And also it affects your balance system, how you feel the balance. So it feels like, for example, Disney was experimenting with a lot of these low frequencies, ultra low frequencies, and they have some of that in many of their shows which are for kids. But of course, if you play it on a TV, you don't hear anything. But if I play it on my system, like I was playing Shira, and there's like an episode where the world is disappearing and stuff like that, collapsing, and it really feels like what the fuck is going on, and it feels like it's almost like having a real earthquake. And here in Hawaii, I've been through earthquakes, so I know how it feels, and it feels like there is an earthquake going on, and I have trouble keeping my balance, vision blurring, and it feels like the density of the air that I'm breathing in is changing, it turning into a fluid substance. So these types of feelings are caused by subsonic frequencies, and that's how you know that they are there, that they're affecting you, and you don't need to be able to hear them to have this effect on your body. And if you got to hear subsonic frequencies, run away. Just don't stay there, because if you have a stereo system that can play like 12 hertz notes so you can hear it, just run away, because it means that if you play it at that energy, it's not just a temporary experience that you feel that something funny is going on, you are in an earthquake, but at that energy level, it's going to cause permanent, it has the potential to cause permanent internal organ injury, and you don't want that. If you listen to it once for a minute or so, and it doesn't have like a repetitive frequency for that whole time, just a couple of times it comes up, you'll be fine. But then next day and during that week, within 7 days, don't do that experience again. Don't listen to it again, because in one experience you will just create some difficulties in your internal organs. And if you expose it again to the same frequencies, that's when the injury gets more aggravated. And if you keep on repeating it a couple of times during a week, you can get to the ER, or if you have pre-existing conditions, you can die from that experience. And yeah, so that's one thing, that to have a healthy dose of subsonic capability from a loudspeaker is just something incredible. And you would say, like, how much of the music contains this material, and my response is much more than you know. So if you have a nice, for example, symphonic orchestra recording that was recorded with a nice wideband microphone, there's like so much material around 20 hertz or below 20 hertz, and that's what creates that atmosphere of the room, the sense of balance, the sense of the size of the whole. So what the voice of Lancelot can do is that even just either listening to concerts or movies, watching movies, it creates I have the feel that the amount of air in the room multiplies like 10 times as much air. And that's the exact opposite that what we get from stereos in general, that as you turn up the volume, it feels like the sound is crushing you, and the room is just for a certain time it's getting better and better, but then it's crashing on you, and it feels like the air is running out, there's not enough air in the room, and you need a bigger room. But that's not true. What you need is a loudspeaker that has less distortion, and that's capable to reproduce the super low frequencies. And when there's those super low frequencies in that recording and the system cannot reproduce them properly, just the truncated upper harmonic versions of those low frequency waves, that's when the sound will start to crush you at very high volumes. And that's something unique that the voice of Lancelot can do, is that just as you turn up the volume, you get just transported to a different reality and then have an experience that I just never experienced with any other loudspeaker on the planet. And if you just have like add subwoofers to add the subsonic, it's not doing it, because there's no harmonic continuity, no integrity with the mid range, with the upper range, nothing. And it's just not happening. It just gets to a very oppressive situation where you feel that it's like, okay, it's just too much. And then people tend to just crank the sub up too much. You will get too much of that really low frequency range where it's not a healthy, constructive, happy experience, but it's becoming an experience that's just draining your body and causing you health issues on the long run, and your doctors will have no idea what caused your issues because you won't tell that, okay, I have a sound system at home that has high level of subsonic reproduction capability. So if you tell that to your physician, then he will need to first do research on it and then tell you, yeah, a lot of your problems come from that. Just turn, and if he hasn't heard about it, then tell him to look into sick building syndrome. That's the medical term for it, sick building syndrome. Because it's also in buildings where the air conditioning systems and the building's self-resonance at super low frequencies cause long-term health issues. And if you are not careful and you overdo the subs with super low frequencies, you will get those issues as well. And with the voice of Lancelot, as I have a little bit of roll-off for the ultra low frequencies, these infrasonic frequencies, they are not presenting that sort of aggravated injustice for the human body, but a balanced way of giving me the full range. It's an experience that I haven't gotten from anything else as of yet. So that's why comparing any loudspeaker on the planet to this loudspeaker is just so not fair. Because when I look at loudspeakers, it's like cars, and comparing like a Maserati to a Ferrari to a Fiat Tipo and whatnot, or your favorite Mazda or Subaru or Hyundai, and there's like diversities, and this voice of Lancelot, it's like a spaceship. It's like from Star Trek, a space vessel that goes at warp speed, and you are not limited by so much things that these race cars, even though they're the finest breed, they just can't handle. They drive perfect on the road, but if you want to visit the moon or fly out of the solar system, they can't do that. Or even if you are stuck in traffic and you want to get, let's say, from Rome to Naples, and there's a traffic jam on the highway, good luck with that. If you have a spaceship, where from there, even you can go other side of the planet in 5 minutes. There you are, no problem. And so that's one thing that I cannot compare with a clear conscience any loudspeaker whatsoever to the voice of the Lancelot. And the only ones that I could compare would be the Altec voice of the theaters, and even them only with a really nice tip-top crossover, and someone who knows about these speakers, been living with them for a long time, and knows how to take care of them and how to apply them for stereo, for high fidelity, and not just like in a movie and then feed it just like a movie tape or something, but really just know the application. And there are people like that in Hawaii. There's at least two of them. Yeah, so there's Tom Choi and there's Jeff. So they both have this knowledge, and I heard their Altex, and they perform at extremely high level, and really those two are the only thing comparable to the voice of Lancelot. And then the other thing is the late Dr. Bruce Edgar's horn systems. They are also something that can withstand comparison, but nothing else that I heard so far comes anywhere close. I think now it's 14 minutes, so far I just described why such a comparison is beyond the unfair. So I'm going to just stop now, and I give you my impressions of how can I really compare the two, the FC8 based Voigt Pipe and the voice of Lancelot. and then give you what is the plus and minus of each, and also this will be a comparison about different applications. So what I've noticed, because I'm keeping both, is that I will use them to fulfill a different purpose, because I love listening to both, but they have a different fulfill at best a different mood to listen to them, and different type of music, and very different room. So ultimately, your room has also a big impact of which one will you find very good. And plus one, there's one more thing I have to add to the comparison, is to build for yourself a voice of Lancelot. Very hard to do. So far, apart from me, only Edward has built one, so he built his own version, and there's Craig. He is building also his own versions, but apart from them, that's it. There's no more. There's no such speakers on the planet, and if you want to build one, it will be a very tough road, because it's really hard to source drivers, and you have to really customize them. There's no ready-made plan for that, and that's because you cannot get the exact drivers and parts that I'm using, because there's a major issue with availability, and every one needs to be custom optimized. So please like and subscribe if you find this topic fascinating. For me, it's absolutely fascinating. This is about the ultimate in loudspeaker technology. That's how I perceive it with my perception, and I'm also looking at it, at loudspeaker technology, not from the eyes of what gives the best show, but what gives music closest to how you can hear it in life. And I'm approaching it not from the standpoint of someone who doesn't know about music, but I'm approaching it from someone who comes with a serious music background. And you need not be an audiophile, but if you are a musician and you look for things that a musician is looking for in the sound, then this, what I just described you, I think that's the highest level that you can, or I have found in audio so far. And thank you. Please like, subscribe. We'll continue. Bye bye.